G'day everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is SmilePie and today we'll be playing Railway Empire 2. So this is the first video on my channel. So a little bit about me. I've been playing Railway Empire 2 for many hours. I've played before that Railway Empire 1 for hundreds and hundreds of hours. Same as Empire 2 really. Been playing train games all my life. So going back right into the olden days, into the 90s. So I used to play Railway Tycoon, that old thing on on a 286 on a Pentium 286. So those of you who are old enough to know what that is, good on yous. You young fellas out there, you're probably asking, what is that? Well, I can tell you, it's a bloody old computer. That's what it is. But anyway, today's game, Railway Empire 2. So let's make a start. New game. And we're going to run through the campaign. So I've done the campaign missions before, but I figure since we're making a new series, we may as well start from scratch. So it's going to be pretty easy for me to complete this, to be honest. But I want to share the experience with all of you, with anyone who's willing and able to watch it. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two, or maybe I'll just be re-going over old ground. But if you love this game as much as I do, I invite you to join and let's go through it. So the American Northeast, starting in 1830. So we'll have the very aptly titled Old Bangers of locomotives. So my name there, SmilePie, the professor. He gives us a very handy bonus of discounted auctions. So we'll be utilizing that to its fullest. Everybody likes a good rural business, and the more we can buy, the better and more vertically integrated our empire can be. So just touch on these things. $2.5 million. So that's stacks, bloody stacks, mate. And one competitor. Not that that matters much. And let's get in. So the load screen takes a while, and I will skip past all the introduction animations. So we'll jump straight into the game shortly. Okay, guys, I've skipped ahead of the intro and all of that stuff. I'm going to pause game time just for a moment while we get our bearings. So I'll zoom right out. I'll also turn on the topography, so that way we can get the lay of the land somewhat. So we've got a couple of mountain ranges. We start off here in Boston. We've got this already made station here next to the timber or lumber and cattle. And we've got Portland up here. We've got connection bonuses in Portland. I don't know how to pronounce this one correctly. I'm sorry if I butcher it, but Bangor. So that's what we'll go with. And we've got connection bonuses to the sugar business and to Albany. So let's have a look at our task list. So that's what we'll be focusing on to complete. So we've got deliver 8 loads of lumber to Boston, deliver 8 loads of sugar to Boston. We've got passengers, 320 passengers from Boston to Portland. So we'll set that up first. And we need to reach 25,000 citizens in Boston. And they're already on 20 and a half. So getting it up to 25 should be no dramas there. So if we turn on the contours again, I like to, before we dive into building, I like to sort of plan out a bit how the main lines will work, and then also get an idea of how we can connect these rural businesses to our main lines. So ideally, we'd have a north-south line. It's pretty obvious between Boston and Portland, and then with future capacity to extend that main line up to Bangor. So that would by planning that way as well, it also helps to decide which way you want to align your stations, because that's pretty important. And so coming out of Boston, we'd want to be able to curve around here roughly and then get into Albany. So we'll have to give some thought about how we position the station in Albany. And then I guess from Albany, the next place would be Syracuse. And we'd also need to have a connection into New York eventually. So how we want to do that are all all factors that we need to keep in our minds while we're planning our layout. Um, Now, I did mention rural businesses before, so the first thing that we're going to do before we start constructing track is buy some of these businesses. So we've got $2.5 million. We get a discount as the professor, so we should we should go to town on these businesses. So a little handy hint or helpful factor when purchasing businesses: if you can purchase a business while its utilization is low, that will definitely decrease the price of the business that you pay for it. So this one, 180 grand. Bear in mind, we're going to get 30% knocked off that, so we'll probably get it for around 120 or so, 126. So that's all right. Uh, we'll buy the cattle farm as well. So how much is a cattle farm going for? It is what it is. So let's buy that one. Everyone likes a good cattle farm. Um, let's see, we've got the meat business in Boston, and we've also got one in Portland, Bangor. It'd be good to grab the textiles and the wool. That can be done later. Let's buy the meatworks down here in Boston. So that's our meat industry. How much are we paying for that? 380. So we'll get that for two something, maybe just short of 300. So 266. So that's a good buy. And we've still got just short of 1.8 million. So we're not struggling. I'm going to pick up this sugar as well, just because why the hell not? So we will get the sugar for 145. Beautiful. So what else? Ideally, we'd buy these ones, but I don't want to spend the money just yet. We'll pick up some connection bonuses once we start constructing. So let's take the topography off. I guess we can think about do we want the Boston station in this exact location? And that goes the same for this station up here. But let's have a think. I would really like to straighten up this alignment, to be honest. So let's go ahead and bulldoze that station, and then we can have that realign the way we like it. I like things like pretty straight. Um, there we go. It helps my well, we can joke about it. It helps my OCD. It's not really OCD. It's just you know, I like things the way I like things. So everyone's the same. Everyone likes things the way they like things, and yeah, there's no shame in that. So let's build Portland Station, and now we want to do tracks. So I also like to have where the gridirons are going to be. I like to have the gridirons straight and in line with the station platforms themselves. So that's what we'll do. Now, coming into Boston here, that's pretty straight. Oh, we got a bridge there. We don't want a bridge. Let's lower that down and just fiddle with the alignment slightly so we're not getting any Any funny games going on? So our earthworks price is going all right. Okay, so we got 0 grade, max speed. This is straight enough. Let's build it. Okay, and I'm gonna duplicate this track straight up all the way down to here. Loving it. Now let's build a gridiron. At the start of the game, it's pretty easy to just have a set of duplicated tracks with a gridiron. We don't need to do anything fancy with platform utilization or the way the signals would work. It's just let's keep it all simple to start off with. So we'll need a station to service these two businesses which we purchased. So one station between the two businesses is completely fine for this point in the game. So let's do that. Green rest. Should we rename the station? That's a good question. And if we did, what would we name it? I don't know. Do people rename their stations to the names of I don't know, the names of things that would mean more to them than the generic names that the computer generates for us? So I don't know the answer to that question. Whoops. There we go. So we're building our nice whoa, 6%. Give me a break. Oh, well, I was just about to say we're building our connections with maximum speed in line and trying to minimize the grade, but 6%, why is that like that? I think because we're going across this embankment, but anyway, it is what it is. We'll just deal with it. In all honesty, the campaign is it's not that critical in terms of performance. Let's move that slightly back a bit, and we'll move this one down a bit more. There we go. 5%. I really don't like it. It's because we built right in this depression. Oh well, we can adjust that later in the game if we end up redoing our freight network, which often ends up being the case. So I'll explain myself a bit more on that one later on if that comes up. So now put a gridiron on for the station. There we go. Set the direction of travel. So um, I will be setting all the tracks the same as driving in Australia. So we drive on the left-hand side of the road, the same as in England and other places, I'm sure. Not many other places, but yeah, I don't know. I guess New Zealand, they drive on the left-hand side of the road there. Um, Pretty much anywhere where the British Empire was, mainly. So that's the start of our little network. So let's get some trains on there, and I'll unpause the game shortly once we get these trains done. So first things first, we'll get the passenger line going. So let's set it as an express line. We'll choose the locomotive. So there's two available early on. So we've got the Grasshopper and we've got the John Bull. So John Bull, that's what we'll go with. I'm going to do a naming convention, which I like to do on my trains. So E for express train. So I just add that onto the front, and then that way later on you can sort your rail lines and all your it'll separate out your express trains from your freight trains. So I've got a way of doing it, which I'll show you. Now, what else can we talk about? In this stage of the game, it's also good to have a look at if we need additional trains. So you'll notice here In this create a rail line, you'll see the duration is listed as 8.6 days. So what that duration is the time in game time that will take a train to go from one station to the next. So from Boston to Portland. If there were more stations in the route, that duration would be longer because it measures the amount of time to go for one train to go from the starting point to the end point of that route. So, in short, we're looking at 8.6 days to go from Boston to Portland and vice versa. So 8 days there, 8 days back. So let's confirm that. Now we'll also look at Boston itself, and we'll see when you open up the city, you'll see the number of citizens, you'll see the amount of consumption that it does per week of goods. So goods are represented by the crate here. The fulfillment of demand, which is how many of the needs are being met for this city at the moment, and at the moment it's pretty low. We'll be correcting that as the game goes on. You can see how much percentage of usage is currently there, and because it's the start of the game, it's none. And then waiting for transport, we've got this many passengers and this much mail, and these are how much they grow by each week. So if we specifically click on our passenger and mail, we will see that for Portland, so these are all the destinations that your passengers that build up in Boston want to go to. And you can see that there's 14 passengers per week that will turn up to the station and say, I want to go to Portland, and they will wait there. So average travel time, they will wait there for up to 6 days until a train comes and picks them up and takes them on their way. So 14 passengers a week, we could have a train with one carriage that would service that level of demand. So having one train is all that we need. Now, there's other cities on the list to the north, and so those passengers who want to go to those other cities to the north, so places such as Bangor or Quebec or Montreal, they may get on the train and go up to Portland as that's a portion of their journey. So that could happen. But for the time being, we've done that little first principles analysis, and that shows us that we only need one train, one express train. So good on us. Now, the next, we need to take wood from here down to Boston. We'll also need a train that takes wood from Green West, can't even talk, to Portland. And then we'll also be taking cattle from here down to Boston as well. So let's set those trains up. So first up, let's make it a freight train, Green West to Boston. This can be the cattle train. So I like to change the names of my trains to show what they're actually carrying when they're freight trains, because that way you can just look at a glance and know what's what. If I leave it as station names, I don't know what's going on at a glance. I'd have to click through things, looking at them. It would just take me vital seconds, which would waste time. Now, the other factor to do when you're setting your freight trains, it's always a good idea to make sure that the minimum number of carriages that they're going to take is the max. So you want freight trains going at full capacity. So this train's going to carry 8 carriages of cattle, and once that gets down to Boston, it will come back empty. So that train's not going to have a return load, but it is what it is. So that's that one. There's no special wagons available at this stage of the game, and not that we'd put one on for livestock. Maybe think about a caboose, but really, it's not all that. It's not going to make much difference. So that's your cattle train there. Let's do the wood trains. So there's that going to there. So F1 wood, and we got wood to Portland. So that's good. John Bull train, one train, make it a freight train. We don't want cows, we want wood, and we want it full. We want all the wood. Yes, gotta love the wood. Now let's do another wood train to Boston. So same thing. Let's rename it F1 wood to Boston. So very good. Freight train is Mr. John Bull, and looking pretty good. So we should have 4 trains on our list, and you can see what I'm talking about. When you click on the train or rail line icon, and it's sorted by name, you can see it's automatically put itself into alphabetical order. And so E, all your passenger lines will be grouped together. All your F1 lines, which are your freight trains with specific goods, they'll all be grouped together. And later on, when I have general freight, which is F2, I call, they'll all be grouped together. So it's just a way of filtering without filtering, so to speak. So let's let's do that. So there's a couple of things we still need to do, which are supply towers. So let's put those on. We don't want trains that run out of water and oil and sand. So put those on just anywhere for now. So trains will come along from here to there and get picked up by that tower, and vice versa, get picked up by that tower. Main line have 2 towers available for their refilling pleasure. Now, one last thing, we've still got $1 million, 1.1 mil. So let's do the maintenance depots. So handy tip: set your maintenance limit to 80% and transfer to all. So what that does is every time a train pulls into the station there, if the train engine has deteriorated below 80%, it will go in for service. So, and that's important because you don't want your trains breaking down mid-track and causing delays. So that's why we do that. So there's a couple of connection bonuses that we should pick up. So let's start the game. So we'll have trains at this station. They should start loading. So let's check out old mates here. How would you be working out in the open? Probably pretty good. Like, put it into context, back in those days, you'd be riding on the fastest machine in the world. That would be the context. So those boys would be loving their job, driving mad machines all day, and you know they'd get to go home, go to the pub, and say, what did you do today? Oh, bloody hell, mate! I was just driving the fastest machine in the world. How about you? Well, for me, I was just shoveling horse shit in town to keep the streets clean. I think we both know who's got the better job. So yeah, there you go. That's it's a bit of improv. So we've got research that we can spend our innovation points on. So warehouse, we're going to use a warehouse, so that's important. Let's get that done. We'll talk about warehouses shortly. And foundations, they're important. Need So reduces the cost of constructing bridges by 5%. So that's handy because we'll be building a bridge at some stage, no doubt. Now, where are our trains? We've got one flowing here, so we've already picked up the connection bonus. That's our competitor. So you can see here, there's 49 passengers on this train and 23 mailbags. we've just done there we go, a speed record, 34 Ks. Let's skip that from that. Now, I'll just pause so we can review the task list. And we have delivered our 8 loads of lumber to Boston. So up next, we'll need to connect the sugar to Boston. So we'll be doing that. So that means, as we talked about before, we'll start our main line coming along this way. So we'll be doing that in the next video. So we'll keep this one short as an introduction. So I hope everyone has enjoyed the video so far, this playthrough. There's plenty more to come. So please like and subscribe and comment in the comments section. Give me your thoughts. Tell us where in the world you're watching from and what other games that you like to play. So we will reconvene next time. Thank you.